Welcome back, gentlemen, to the shop. In today's video, we are going to be attempting the impossible, and we're going to answer this question. Can a professional homeowner make something on a blacksmith forge that isn't terrible? Well, we're going to find out. Let's light the forge. I'll bring you along, and we're going to try to attempt to do this all with a broken hip. Shall we light the forge and proceed? I think we shall. We're going to give it our best today. I've created for myself a workspace that is suitable for a cripple like myself. Let's get a little bit of heat in the anvil. We had some trouble with that on the live stream. I've got this big chunk of steel. We'll get this heated up here and let that sit on there. So the workstation I have here is, I was going to build a little table, and I had that big leftover chunk of that old growth Doug fir tree. And I thought, well, I'll just roll it over here and put it on rollers, and it's working out really good. So I mounted myself a little vise right here that I can work with. It's got a lot of mass in it, and my big chunk of steel is a good runoff table. Right here where we're working. Get a little heat in that while we're preparing everything. Today's project, we're going to be attempting to make a bracket, and this is going to be somewhat difficult for me because it's going to require 4 holes, and I'm not going to be using a drill bit, but punching it the old-fashioned way, and even cutting it the old-fashioned way. This is not a tutorial how to blacksmith. This is the grim reality of what happens if someone that has very limited skills gives it a shot. Fortunately, I have some nice tools and a beautiful anvil. If you're just joining me, this is a 422-pound Austrian-made anvil that is, well, one of my greatest joys. Years ago, one of my subscribers, and I'm so sorry I forgot his name, made me these 2 beautiful tools. This is a bending fork, and you can see his maker mark on there with a heart, and a cutter to fit in the hardy hole. And I never was able to use them because my old anvil had little tiny hardy holes, but today we're going to be able to try this. Let's start off with our material. We need to cut this down to 9 inches using no power tools and no electricity. One thing I found with this big anvil is the hardy hole, since this was hand forged in 3 individual pieces, is it doesn't quite fit. I heated this up and worked with it a little bit, Brian and I, and we got it to go in there, but we still have some work to go. But I think this will work for us today. Now the fork, it fits in there good enough right there, but ultimately I think we'd want that to drop in. I think this piece is probably about to spin itself. Let us proceed. This is my maker's mark. This was made for me by father and son who are subscribers of mine and proper blacksmiths. They came to me years ago and asked if they could make a touch mark for me, or maker's mark. This was something that a craftsman would have marked his anything he created with to signify that it was his. And they came up with what became our avatar and our logo right there. So this is the original one that they made for me. So this will be the first project that we'll stamp with this in the new homestead and on the new anvil. Whoa, we did it, gentlemen. That was actually one of 5. The maker's mark, I've told this story before, maybe you have heard it, but it was a way of a craftsman, not just a craftsman, but even folks that made bread, a baker at the time. Interesting, kind of a fun fact. Bakers would have a small disc that had their mark on it, and when they would bake their dough, they would throw the dough on top of it. When you bought that bread, you could flip it upside down and you could tell immediately who was the maker of that bread, who in town actually was responsible for that. That gave accountability. If a baker were to be unscrupulous and start adding in sawdust or inferior ingredients, and that would be picked up immediately and you could see who it was that was cheating you. And when you lived in these small communities, of course, your reputation was everything. And that's what, by and large, I think was the glue that held civilizations together, was that accountability coupled with shame. When accountability is gone, then you have the world we have today, which is a brave new world that's hard to see where it's going to go. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I like that concept. It'd be nice to see a little bit more of that today. If you're just anonymous and it doesn't make any difference and you can be plugged in or unplugged from a job or an organization, it's hard to have a lot of pride of ownership or pride of craftsmanship, whereas you sign your name to something and that anyone who ever handles that or uses that knows exactly what its origin was and that was you. I think for most of us, it would cause us to up our game a little bit. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe and click the thumbs up. This will probably be a 3 or 4 part series. Stay tuned, we've got something pretty cool. We'll be mixing the latest cutting edge technology with the old world technology, and if it comes together right, it's gonna be cool. Tomorrow, Lord willing, I'm gonna attempt to make some square-headed screws, little 5/8 screws, and we'll do that together. So thanks for watching. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.
Stars are my only friends tonight. I caught into my mind this interstellar lights. Why is the light so hard to find?